You're live.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. This meeting will come to order. This is the Zoning Board of Appeals, February 2022 meeting. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Meg, roll call, please.
Ms. Ferrante,
Present.
Mr. Soto,
Here.
Mr. Dubois.
Here.
Ms. Hirsch,
Present.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
Chris Wolf join us yet?
No,
Okay, and Chairman Tizzola.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. Also present this evening is Stephen Harris, our zoning officer, and Meg Green, our recording secretary. So let's see here. We
Chris Wolf.
have
Chris Wolf has just joined us.
Chris just came in?
Yep.
Okay.
Good evening.
Okay,
evening.
Chris, we just, so we know you're here. All right, so we have 4 members here and we need an alternate to fill in as a member. So Ms. Hirsch, would you please fill in this evening, please? We're
Happy
missing
to
a
do so.
member. The
Thank you,
city has not appointed the other member that we need for the board as yet, so you will be on for all the voting this evening. Okay, let's see. Guess we have everything covered. We have everybody installed. Item number 170 Christina Terrace has been moved again to March 8th, next meeting. With that, item number 2, Ms. Secretary.
Item number 2, 102 Melba Street, MVP 29/589/4A R5. Chris Russo Esquire for Jose Tiago, owner, variance of section 3.1.4.1 of the zoning regulations to increase the maximum height in the R5 zone from 35 feet to 38.4 feet to the main portion of the proposed roof and 46.9 feet to a proposed roof stairway enclosure, and a further variance of section 3.1.4.1 to reduce the minimum side property line setback from 10 feet to 7.6 feet to enclose the existing access stairwell and entry porch.
Mr. Chairman, before we get going with this,
Okay,
on the language for 102 Melba Street, the proposed or the asked variance for the roof enclosure is not necessary. That meets the zoning regulations pertaining to
Okay.
height and the roof area. So they don't need that one.
okay.
All right.
All right, so who's presenting this? Mr. Russo, are you here?
Yes, Chairman. Chris Russo with Russo and Rizzio LLC, offices at 10 Sasco Hill Road in Fairfield, on behalf of the applicant, Jose Tiago. Good to be before you tonight. For what I have to say, I've been doing zoning for 7 years. My partner that I work with has been doing it for 30. This is a particularly unique situation. Just to kind of tell you the background and how it all originated. My client called me and said he had plans to improve his home and that he needed a height variance. And so I asked him, okay, what are you doing? And he said that he's actually reducing the height of his roof. And so, not having seen the plan and known the history, I said to him, I said, well, you don't need a variance for that. You don't need a variance to reduce the height of your roof. But then he went through the history of this particular dwelling and what had happened. So this property, this dwelling was constructed in 2001. Plans were prepared, they were submitted. It was done by a licensed surveyor, and the dwelling was built and an as-built survey was filed. And the as-built survey showed that the height to the midpoint of the roof was 34 feet, which was in compliance with the zone, which is 35 feet. Even though it said that, it should have been apparent to the surveyor that there was no way that height would be possible, just looking at the floors that this dwelling contained. And so years down the road, my client is putting together these plans to renovate this property and this dwelling, and hires his own surveyor, Jimmy Zumo, who may be on the call actually, with Land Surveying Services LLC. And he goes out, prepares the existing condition survey, and puts the height to the midpoint of the roof at actually 39.5 feet. And so when my client goes to zoning to propose these plans, zoning looks at it and says, well, this height is not compliant. And through some research, it's discovered the error, that the original surveyor had said that this dwelling as constructed was compliant at 34 feet to the midpoint of the roof, when in fact the height was 39.5 feet. So the existing conditions as it stands now at that property is that the measurement is 39.5 feet to the midpoint of the roof and about 47.5 feet to the peak of the roof. And Stephen, if you're controlling, I don't know if you could show, actually, Stephen, if you're able to let me screen share, I can pull up a picture of it.
Want to go to these plans?
I was going to show what the existing property looks like now from the road.
We all got it.
You've seen it. So even though my client is proposing to reduce the height of the roof by switching from a peaked roof to a flat roof, where the height of the flat roof would be 38.4.
Mr. Russo, you can share your screen if you'd like.
Oh, okay, great. Let me do that. You just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so if you see here on the, can you see the, is it showing up on the screen, or maybe I have to?
Not yet.
You have to share the 1 second. If I share the screen, I should be able to. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Okay, you can see it now.
So these are the two, and you can see they're mirror images of each other. They're essentially the exact same. There's actually a peak on the one to the left. My client's is the one on the right, and all he's proposing to do is to change it from a peaked roof to a flat roof and bringing the height of the roof down, and then expand the third floor, which is where his master bedroom is, out. But because this house was built over what was permitted in the zone, he needs a height variance, even though he's technically lowering the roof. And Mr. Harris pointed out that the roof enclosure that he's proposing doesn't require a variance. So it's really a proposal to reduce the nonconformity that exists on the property, but he needs the variance for simply expanding that third floor, which is over the 35 feet. So it's a unique situation, and reducing a nonconformity is certainly grounds for granting a variance, and we'd hope that you'd find that as grounds for granting this unique variance. The other variance relates to, and I'll see. Sorry, I have to toggle through my pictures here. I went through the neighborhood and I found other examples of third floors with decks that were in the neighborhood, but I'm trying to find, there's also on the side, there is side of the existing dwelling, there's an open stairwell and porch to gain access to the first living floor. Yeah, you can see it here. So on the right side of the existing dwelling, there's this stairwell and entrance that brings you into the first floor. My client's simply proposing to enclose this upper area. The narrative might not have made this clear. He's not proposing to enclose this entire stairwell from ground floor up to the first floor level, just this area outside the door. So we can have an enclosed area there, which requires a setback variance for just for simply enclosing it. But so in going through the plans, I'll just pull these up. Okay, so you can see right here, this right now is a peaked roof, and so we're cutting off that peak entirely and converting it into a flat roof. And it's really this area right here that you see here in orange, this extension out, that requires the variance, simply because it is above 35 feet. This dwelling was constructed above 35 feet. And so despite the fact we're reducing, we require this variance. And that's basically it. Extremely unique situation. It took me a while to comprehend what my client said had happened and understand, just looking at the plans that this required a variance. But, due to the error of the surveyor back in 2001, that certified that his calculations were correct and that the measurement to the midpoint was 34 feet in compliance with the regs. My client would have known that there was, what the true height of this was, and would have, he just unfortunately saw this as-built survey and relied on it, thinking it was accurate, but it was a miscalculation. And now, even though he's looking to technically improve the conditions, he needs a variance to do this work. So happy to answer any questions. We feel it's in conformity. A lot of the homes in the neighborhood have decks like this and are obviously raised because of the FEMA regulations. So they are 3 living floors on top of a ground level floor where people have parking. And so we certainly think we're in character with the neighborhood. We think we are meeting the intent of the regulations by reducing this existing non-conformity on the property. So with that, happy to answer any questions regarding the application.
Okay. So can you take your,
Sure.
so we can see who's on the screen, please? Thank you. All right, commissioners. Anyone have a question ready for Mr. Russo? I have a question.
Go first, please. You're probably going to ask the same one as me.
Mr. Russo, what is the actual height of this structure right now?
Right now, it is 39.5 feet to the midpoint of the roof.
All right, so that was a surveyor mistake. So the house was built to that mistake. Is that correct?
Correct. And it was certified afterwards. It was an as-built survey, was certified saying that after it was built, that was the height of the building.
All right, so because we have that wrong condition right now, you're feeling that it's justified to ask for, what are you asking for, 38 feet?
So it would be 38.4 to the flat roof. So reducing, and the measurement's obviously different because it's really a greater reduction because we're going from a peaked roof to a flat roof, but the measurement to the flat roof is 38.4.
Right. But we're, we do have a mistake in the way it was built. So, we're still I'm actually looking still for 35 feet is the height, the actual height like it should be. Do you know the top floor, what the ceiling height is going to be on that top floor? Maybe we can get a few feet lower right there because the ceiling is like 8 foot high. So if they're building a 10 or 11 or 12 foot high ceiling on the third floor there, maybe there is some room right there to reduce the structure even more.
Well, so and just so you know, and Jimmy Zumo's on the call, and he's the surveyor who correctly did the survey. We are just going out from the third floor that exists now, so we're maintaining the same height on this addition that that currently exists. So we're not raising the height of that floor at all. If we were to get down to 35 feet, we would literally have to cut off the in the middle of the third floor to get there. Jimmy, do you know what's the height of the top living floor, where that's at?
Hi, James Zumo, Land Surveying Services.
We
did the survey.
Hold on 1 second. Is there any way we can take this blue screen away from us? Is everyone looking at the blue screen or just me right now?
No, I got you. Stephen, pull that front elevation up again, please.
The third floor ceiling height is 8 foot 3.5 inches.
So we got 8 foot each floor.
The first floor is 8 foot, the second floor is 7 foot 10 3/4, and the third floor is 8 foot 3.5. So they're all,
So we're adequate,
there's nothing you can lower.
right?
Okay. All right. So commissioners, who else has a question?
Mr. Soda, do you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Mr. Russo, thank you for putting that up. Two things, playing devil advocate here. You're blowing out the top of this and making a full roof deck. You're going to cut the top off, and the entire roof is now going to be a exposed.
William Soda's on
Sorry,
Mr. Wolf is talking right now.
Hey, Hans, iPad, can you mute yourself, please? Thanks. Mr. Russo, we're taking this truss roof off and we're cutting it flat for a flat roof. And basically, we talked a lot about our elevation heights. Your side setback to enclose this side stairwell is the main issue here that could be a non-compliance for fire egress and fire. These detailed drawings are pretty decent. Was there any interior layout submitted? Just being devil's advocate, this kind of screams two-family house. Because if you enclose that on the side, do we have any interior details that we can see that show what are you going to do when you walk in through that side stairwell once it's bumped out? Do we have a lobby? Do we have immediate stairways going up to the third floor? What are we doing on the inside of that entrance?
I'm trying to see if I have a copy of the floor plans. It's definitely a single family. I could tell you the applicant is moving in with his family. And so it's definitely a single family. I'm trying to see if I have the details about what the floor plans look. Jimmy, is that something you have? Do you have the floor plans?
Excuse me 1 minute. Mr. Harris, would you please get in the middle of this? Is this something that we need?
Stephen, did anything come in on floor plan layout, or I just don't want to go down the rabbit hole here?
Somewhere along the line, when they had applied for a zoning permit earlier, there were several editions of the plans, but this is a single family house. They're not converting it to a multifamily.
Okay. I'm good. Bill?
All right, okay, Mr. Wolf. Are you all set, Mr. Wolf? All
Yeah,
right,
thank you.
Mr. Soda.
I just have one thing you want to clarify. The side porch is staying the same size. You're just closing it in and making it a foyer, correct?
Correct.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions? Or is there anyone else speaking in favor of this application? Anyone here speaking in favor? Is there anyone here opposed? Raise your hand if you're opposed to this application. Anyone here opposed?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, identify yourself, please.
Margaret Coyle of 104 Melba Street. I am on the immediate side. If you're staying in the street, I am to the right of that house.
Okay, Go ahead.
And I am concerned, what is that thing on the plan? It looks like like on the third floor where the flat deck is, there's this little cupola thing. What is that?
that's an entryway up onto the roof, we believe. I think that Mr. Harris will explain if that's allowable. I think he
That's
did
stairwell to the
start
roof.
out by saying it's a stairway and that they're allowed to do that.
That's a stairway to the roof.
Yeah, I
And
think
how high is that gonna be? What's the height on that gonna be?
The height on that from the ground is 46 feet, 10 3/4 inches.
yeah.
Well, that's well above, is it not? I,
It's
When they
within the
built those
regulations
houses-
for roof, Mr. Chairman,
Go
the roof stairwell is within the regulations for a roof enclosure.
It is, to his point, it's, it's the way to get up onto the top landing, and it's just that section at the top of the stairway. That's allowed.
oh,
So
all right,
go ahead.
well,
Go ahead.
I-
Your other concerns.
I question it because when they built those houses, the original house, oh, wait, are you done?
No, you're just switching the screen.
I'm just
You can
showing
still
you,
hear you.
it's a side view.
Yes, that thing,
This is-
yes.
Yeah.
this is, looking at it head on, so, just so you.
Right, and that is on the same side as my property. And when they built those, and I have roof windows on my roof, but when they originally built those homes, I called planning and zoning and I said, those houses are too high. I mean, they're above the limit, because when we put our addition on years ago, I had to drop a line from the highest point down to the ground because my husband was in a motorcycle accident. So I did it myself to make sure we were within height requirements. So when they built those houses, I called planning and zoning and I said, I think those houses are above the height requirement. And I was assured they were fine. They were within regulation. I believe it was Peter Crabtree, maybe, because I know I've dealt with him in the past. So I am upset that for 21 years, or however many, since 2001, nothing was done about that. I've made complaints. And now they want to build this 45-foot. I have roof windows. I mean, you can't see them in the pictures, but I don't want to look out my roof windows and see that. I'd like to see sky. Bad enough that whole side, all I see is the house. So my roof windows were a relief that I could actually see the sky. But with that built there, they're going to block my roof windows as well.
It'll be in the shadow of that building.
Right, total.
It's just, and then with the proposed decking, you can't help but think it's gonna turn into a party house, which you already have across the street here, and it's constant, disturbing the peace and stuff.
Well, actually, across the street, they rent it, but they rent it out for weekends, which is terrible. And they just rent it for parties.
This is the clerk, if I could just break in, I'm hearing two voices. I have Margaret Coyle,
Yeah, I'm
who's
here
the
with
other
Margaret
person?
Coyle.
My son-in-law,
All right. so
Can
we
you
need you-
identify
because he's
yourself,
better at the
please?
Yes,
computer
one
than I
at
am.
one at a time, like she's
Sorry.
one at a time. So Mr., we don't know who you are right now. Let the lady that's with you talk, and then you will talk and identify yourself.
Okay.
Okay,
Go ahead.
sorry. He's
Please
better with the
continue.
computer than I am. So I asked him to help me in case I had trouble with the computer.
It's fine that I just need to know who he is. That's all.
No,
Oh,
Cody Delmonico. I'm a
Son-in-law.
son-in-law.
Okay, and your address, please?
106 Kent Lane, Trumbull, Connecticut,
Okay.
06611.
Sorry.
Thank you. Go ahead, ma'am. Continue.
You can finish. It's just that
Go
the
ahead.
concerns we have are just that we're gonna be in the shadow of that thing. It's tall, and it's, you know, it's probably gonna turn into a party house. And it's,
Well, you can't say that. You don't know
I
that.
mean, I don't know that, but that's what I'm thinking about.
So your
And it's-
property is to the right of that house, correct?
If you're standing in the street, yes.
Okay.
And so the thing now, which you clarified, we thought the enclosure for the stairwell was gonna encroach closer to her property,
But it's not.
but it's not. So that was a concern we had, but that was null and void now. It's just a height thing, you know? It's like, it's gonna be permanent, and then you gotta stare at it every single day. It's like, that's the only grievances we have. Is a privacy concern, possibly security, but I don't know. You know, you don't know what's gonna happen in the future. So it sounds out, you know, it sounds
Okay.
weird, but you never know what's gonna happen in the future, so.
All right. Both of you, are you done with your comments?
Yeah, I'm
for now?
finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just
All right.
have to say
Oh, no.
that I
ahead.
raised 6 children in this house. And I have to say, all of my children are adults. They're nice people. They'll have college degrees. They love Milford. I love Milford. I loved raising my kids here. And my husband passed away when my kids were small, but it was a great place to raise my kids, and they turned out to be great adults. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else speaking in opposition?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment.
You identify yourself, please, and your address.
Sure. Leah Scalzi. I live at 40 Beachland, actually right behind the property. Our property is a newer property in the neighborhood. We've been here about 3 years, and our backyard butts up against 102 and 104. I think that, you know, we were a little concerned about the side enclosure, but I think that, you know, those 3 properties on Melba have kind of deteriorated a little bit. We see the back of all 3 of them, and some of them are not very well kept. There's a lot of junk and stuff in the yard. So I think it's a good thing that they're going to be kind of revitalizing this property and making additions to it to kind of clean up that row right there. So we're definitely in favor for it.
You're in favor of the project, or are you opposed? I was asking for opposition.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in favor.
You're in favor. Okay. All right. We had already covered in favor before, so that's fine.
Sorry, this
All
is
right,
my first rodeo.
So you're in favor. For the record, you're in favor. And the opposition is, we've heard from 2 people so far. So, all right, we're all set. You're all set, ma'am?
Yes, thanks. Sorry
Okay,
for the
all
delayed
right,
response.
Okay, so again, is there anyone else opposed to this application? Anyone else opposed? Commissioners, any questions right now? We're going to give it back to you, Mr. Russo, so maybe you can possibly comment on some of the things that were said by the opposition.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Well, first I want to say Mrs. Coyle's suspicions were correct, that it was not compliant. And I'm trying to share the, I don't know if you all can see the elevations, but the building was too high, and I think everybody relied on a surveyor who went out and actually did the work and surveyed the property, that they had put in the right calculation, but they were incorrect. And the town relied on it. The person who built the dwelling relied on it, and my client also, that this was built in a conforming manner and had a correct as-built survey. But I want to just clarify something about the actual variance that we are asking for. It is not for removing the peaked roof and turning it into a flat roof. As Mr. Harris was indicating, the flat roof and the enclosure that's with it is permitted under the regulations, because we are reducing an existing non-conformity. Where we need a variance is for the addition that we are putting onto the third floor to expand the master bedroom slightly to closer to the road. So if anything, I think we're going to improve Ms. Coyle's view because we're removing that peaked roof. So we're removing bulk from the that is non-conforming essentially. And again, the enclosure for the side stairwell that's on that goes from the ground floor to the first floor, it's just that porch entry that is getting enclosed. So there's a little foyer mudroom up there at the top of the enclosure, or top of the stairwell, I should say. And it is not getting any closer to the property line that exists right now. It's simply getting enclosed. So there are actually minimal variance requests being proposed, and we're also having the benefit of reducing the bulk that is non-conforming on this site. So for those reasons, we think it's improving the situation for Ms. Coyle. The flat roof in the stairwell enclosure going up to that floor is completely conforming with the regulations due to the pre-existing non-conformity of the height that this building was built at.
Mr. Chairman, I have a point of clarification.
Go ahead, sir.
I'm going to share my screen to show you the elevations. The applicant is asking for, here's the new flat roof. The applicant is asking for zoning relief for a roof of this height, which is 38.5 feet up to this flat portion. The work being done on the lower floors, down here to sort of square off the house. Let me go back to this. All right, so there's work being done here and here. All right, that doesn't need a variance. It's the overall height of the roof that you can see here. This is what he needs a variance for, plus the side entry, this side entry here, because that's being enclosed. This roof extension, this stairway is zoning compliant. He doesn't need a variance for this. He needs a variance for the new roof height and for this side enclosure. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Coyle, are you any comfort in any of that stuff that was just presented?
I'm still not happy with the stairway entrance, but I am glad they're not going to
Come closer.
come closer to my property.
That's what we were thinking. We thought,
The stairwell is
When
just
I'm looking
being,
at these,
the stairwell is just being enclosed. It's
Right.
it's not getting any larger. It's just
yeah, you
closing
guys made that
itself.
more transparent.
right, well, that I could see because in the variance letter, it said that you're looking to vary side yard setback from 10 feet to 7.6. That's
'cause
the letter I got.
That's the existing variance that's there right now. The only thing they're doing is closing in the structure that's there. It's not getting any bigger. It's not coming any closer to the property line.
Okay, look, like I said, I lived with this mess when they built these homes for all these years. And I knew they were wrong, but I call planning and zoning. All right, we're not gonna go repeat this again, but anyway, so.
Something was on.
Yeah, it's rather unfortunate that these are built wrong, and it's like, what can we do at this point? It's previous stuff that, none of us have been involved with. And I know.
It is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
But I didn't want it to get worse. And because on both sides of my third floor, I have roof windows. My only concern was I'm already in the shadow. I mean, on that side of the house for my daughter's bedrooms, they're grown now. But anyway, when they looked out the window, all they saw was that house. And the only relief I got was from the roof windows on the third floor.
But it almost appears that by them cutting the roof down a little bit right now, that would also help, I would think.
Yeah, minimum.
Chair, Chair, if I might add,
Go ahead, Mr. Russo, yeah. Go ahead.
this might give some comfort to Mrs. Coyle. Once this roof is changed to a flat roof, no one would be able to go back to what's currently there without another variance. So once it is removed, once this peaked roof is removed, it'll be gone forever unless somebody comes back for a variance.
Okay.
Okay, I have one question. How
Go ahead.
wide will that stairway be? Like the stairwell? I'm
The
trying to
one
figure
that's
out
on the-
like how, I only have 3 windows over there, so I want to know if they're all gonna be blocked or one's
Are
gonna
you
be blocked.
talking about the stairwell that's on the side of the house right now?
No, 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 the 3rd floor, that addition,
Oh, that one.
the entrance, the stairway,
On the top roof,
right, yes.
that the zoning officer
I
said,
can show you
they
that.
don't, the
48.
zoning officer showed that, and they don't need a variance for that part.
So this
Oh,
is,
well,
this is the front of the.
The
this is
very,
the front
very
of the
top. Can you see that? On
Here's the
your
front of-
Yes.
computer?
This
Okay,
is the front of the building. Here's
Yeah.
the roof enclosure here, and here's the side of the building on the east side. This is the front of the house, the back of the house, and here it is here in profile.
okay, that's fine, because that's the back of the house anyway. That's fine.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
all right, so again, with this here right now is, the commissioners we're gonna deliberate on this. I don't know if they're in favor of this application or not in favor, but we're just trying to find, you're in opposition, and we'd like to try and clarify some stuff for you so that you're a little bit more comfortable in case it's approved.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, are there any other questions? from the
No,
commissioners
no,
right
you've
now?
answered them all.
All right,
Thank you very much.
you're
Thank you for
welcome.
your time.
Sure. Any other questions? Mr. Soda?
I have just one for Attorney Russo. When did your client buy the house?
He bought it, I think it was last
2
year.
years ago? Okay, so he had nothing
Yeah,
to do
it was
with the
recent.
original construction.
No.
Okay.
No,
And I
so
mean,
when
one
he
thing I
came
wanna
in
point
and the building had a CO, and so,
Right.
really would have no suspicion unless you thought
And
that
this goes
the
back-
that
this
the
goes
surveyor
back to
made an
the
error.
This goes back to the architect that designed it. I mean, that's his mistake.
Right, and the
And
surveyor, whoever went
surveyor-
out and
The
measured,
surveyor should have caught it, but it was the architect's design.
it wasn't until he brought in the plans that Mr. Zumo had prepared. And Mr. Zumo had correctly, when he went out, and this was, I think it was last year, when he went out and did the measurement himself, that's when really this error was first discovered.
Okay, we're all set then?
Actually, I want to make,
All
want to
right,
clarify something.
hold on, sir. Who are you?
My name is Mark Andre. I'm
Are
the architect for the project.
Okay, so,
I want to clarify that we are not the original architect of the original house.
Okay.
Mr. Tiago hired us to do the renovation and the expansion, and then we printed out to him the issue with the zoning. So then we stopped the entire project, and then we hired Attorney Russo's to make sure that we can legalize the non-conformity of the building. So I just wanted to make sure that no one, we don't want to be on the record that we were the one of the original architect, and now we're coming back to fix the mistake that was made, if that was
All right.
implied.
okay,
I apologize to Mr. Andre. Yes, he is not the one who made the mistake.
If I could just ask Mr. Andre where his business is located.
We are in Fairfield, Connecticut, downtown Fairfield, and we've been practicing. My office has been around for a little bit over 12 years now.
just give her your street address.
Just the street address for the record.
34 Sherman Street, Fairfield, Connecticut.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, Mr. Russo, you're all set?
Yeah, Chairman, I'll just note, I think you all have it, but I think we submitted a petition of a number of neighbors that were in favor of the application. I could pull it up, but I believe it was forwarded to you. And we
Okay.
really think it's an improvement.
We'll ask Meg Green about that. Meg, do you have the petition? And
The petition is appended to the end of the documents.
okay,
So Stephen could display it if he
okay.
wanted
Well,
to.
I don't know if we need it anyway. But, Okay,
We got it.
okay. Commissioners, any other questions? Any other questions? This hearing's
That's
closed.
it?
Is
Okay.
No, I
This
think
hearing's closed.
Joe, there's a question.
there's a question from Carmina.
Who had a question?
Carmina, you have to unmute yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did have just one question for Attorney Russo. What material is going to be used for the railing for the rooftop deck?
I will defer that answer to Mr. Andre. Mr. Andre, can you answer that question?
Yes, so we're thinking either it will be like a thin rod, about 3/8 of an inch round, or a stainless steel cable, which actually will make that the railing even more transparent, so it would not impede any view through that rooftop, opposed to a solid or 5/4 or 1 inch by 1 inch AZEK balusters.
But not, a clear sort of tempered glass.
No, no, we're not putting tempered glass, even though we could, but the original design is showing it as detailed in the plan that we will use a stainless steel cable. Or in lieu of that, we probably use like it's similar to stainless steel, but they're like little rods, galvanized rods. But obviously, if my client wanted to use tempered glass, we certainly can do it. But right now the plan is for a stainless steel cable or 3/8 rod.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no further questions.
Okay, that's it. All right, this hearing is closed. Okay, commissioners, your thoughts now.
Well, as for my thoughts, Mr. Chairman, I'm concerned that this homeowner will be capitalizing on an error that a prior homeowner did knowingly or unknowingly. The neighborhood is set to a particular elevation. It does appear that this lowered rooftop is going to now become a 4th floor outdoor deck. Having heard the material used for the railing doesn't sway my concerns for the neighbor who is here tonight, indicating that she already has a blocked view from her windows. If it was a clear glass, potentially that would assuage some of her concerns, but given what we've heard, I don't know that that's going to be the case.
I believe he said that the top, the railing would be maybe a pole structure with the wire, so it's a see-through. So I don't think any, there would be no blockage as far as light or anything else from that floor, as opposed to the original roof. That's the way. Mr. Soda, do you have any comments on that?
I'll let, not right now, Joe.
Okay, all right. Okay, other comments then? Your thoughts? No other thoughts, okay. We're gonna need a motion on this to approve or not approve.
I'll bring the motion, Mr. Chairman. Motion to approve the variances for 102 Melba Street.
Okay. We need a second? No second? Okay, we have a motion to approve, and we don't have a second on the motion. Well, we need a motion to not approve this then.
You don't have to vote tonight. If the board can't make up its mind, you can always.
What are your thoughts, board members? You want to?
Yeah, why don't we hold it open until next month?
You want to leave it open, think about it a little more?
Yeah, this is, I need more time to think on it.
I
I know
agree.
it's not, I know it's not the new homeowner's fault, but, I need a little time to think on this.
All right, so, okay, so Mr. Soto wants more time. Go ahead, Mr. Wolf.
We've got the most people I've ever seen at this zoning board silent right now. I like Carmina's comment regarding the rooftop. My concern is you're going to have 40 people on top of this house. It's a concern.
Well, that's speculation too. So
Right. Just as the devil's advocate on that, I'm just shocked that we don't have additional oppositions or people voicing their concerns. So with that, I would almost be on the second for Carmina, but no, let's sit back on this one. It's a tough one.
Okay. All right. So
if I could, ladies and gentlemen, if I could just interrupt. Sarah was somehow dropped off. Ms. Ferrante was dropped out of the call. I don't know if Stephen can maybe expedite her getting back in. I just got a text from her.
All right. Give me a minute.
we could just pause here for a minute until we get Sarah, because I was going to ask her for her comments next. Ms. Hirsch, were you thinking about leaving this open too, or was that your thought?
I actually had a question perhaps for you, Mr. Chairman, or for the zoning commissioner. My recollection was that we have to, if we have a motion before us, we have to request the motion be approved rather than a motion to not approve. And the motion has to either be voted down for it to die or voted to pass. But otherwise, we have to request the motion be to approve be made. Is that
motions should be made in the affirmative?
Affirmative. Thank you.
Right.
That's
yeah.
We don't have a second.
It's been a long night.
All right. So, would you be in favor of us keeping this open?
Of course, if the commissioners would like more time.
Okay, so that's three of you, and I'm in favor of keeping it open. So we're waiting on Ms. Ferranti to get back with us, but
Joe, I have a question.
There's four of us. Go ahead, Mr. Soda.
So if Carmina makes the motion to approve and somebody seconds it, everybody could vote against it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I know we talked about doing this. We've been
to
talking about
deny
doing
the
this for
motion.
years, but
Chairman, we can talk about voting mechanics at the end of the meeting if you'd like.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no second.
All right. So right now there's four of us in favor.
Sarah's back.
We're going to keep this hearing open, and we're going to move on.
But what about the motion? Does she have to
Chairman?
withdraw the motion or no?
Does
Should
she
you
have
do
to?
that in the form of a motion to keep the hearing open for voting purposes?
Sure. Who wants to make
What
that
about the
motion?
existing motion, Stephen? Does that just sit or does she withdraw it?
Can you withdraw your motion, Ms. Hirsch?
Yes, I withdraw my motion.
Okay, motion's withdrawn, so we need a
Go ahead,
motion.
Mr. Soda. You can make a motion to keep this open.
I make a motion to hold the hearing open until next month.
Okay. All in favor?
Second.
There's four of us.
No, Mr. Chairman, the hearing is not to be held open. It's already been closed, so it's moved. It's held open only for voting.
Okay.
Okay, I make a motion to hold the meeting open for voting only next month.
We need a second on that too.
Second the motion.
Okay. All right. We have the motion and it's been seconded. This is held open for a vote at our next meeting. 102 Melville Street will be voted on the March 8th meeting.
Joe, Mr. Chair, the motion and second have not been voted on yet. Did you want to call the roll, or would you like me to call it?
Sure.
Okay. Let's scroll back up here.
This is the motion to hold open, right?
The motion to hold open, correct.
To vote.
To vote that
Vote.
motion, it
Yep.
was made and seconded but not voted. Ms. Ferrante,
With the motion.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Wolf,
With the motion.
Mr. Soda,
With the motion.
Ms. Hirsch,
With the motion.
and Chairman Tizzolo.
I'm with the motion. It's held
Thank
open.
you.
All right. Ms. Ferranti.
Item number
three.
81 Morningside Drive, MBP 39/616/4, R10, Thomas Lynch, Fire for Brian Foley, owner. Vary section 6.3.2 to allow for expansion of non-conforming structure, and 4.1.4 deck projection to 5.4 feet where 21 feet permitted.
Okay, who's doing this? Mr. Lynch, is he here?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, rest of the members of the board. Just for the record, my name is Thomas Lynch. My office is located here in Milford at 63 Cherry Street. And I have the pleasure tonight of appearing before you to present this application on behalf of my clients, Brian and Sandra Foley. Brian and Sandra purchased 81 Morningside Drive in August of this last year. They spent $1 million purchasing this house, and now they want to invest even more money into improvements in the house. It's located on Morningside Drive in the Morningside section of Milford. This is R10 zone, and the lot is a conforming lot in the zone. It's some 11,000 square feet, but similar in nature to many of the other houses that have been built over the years in Morningside. The Ale Land development map was actually filed in 1912. A lot of the houses in Morningside were built during the 1920s, predating our zoning regulations. So there are a lot of structures, houses in Morningside that are non-conforming, and this is one of them. The original house itself was built closer to the 25-foot front yard setback on Morningside Drive that now exists, as well as Thompson Hill Road. And my client has retained the services of Joe Rousseau, who's a local architect, does great work around town. Joe is on the Zoom with me, and he's going to go through the particulars of the design of the project. But what you're seeing on the screen here is the footprint of the house with proposed additions. There's going to be a proposed addition on the westerly side of the property, which will include a rear deck. The square footage of that addition is some 500 square feet. And then on the second floor, there will be a similar second floor addition within that same box print on the second floor, as well as an extension across the front of the house. So really the two additions are going to be some 1,400 square feet. They are all zoning compliant. All of the proposed construction that you see in the westerly portion and then on the second floor of the house fit within the existing R10 setbacks. And the only thing that we're before you tonight is really a minor portion of the proposed development. In 2017, the then owner of 81 Morningside Drive came before the board. There was no opposition from neighbors. He came before the board because he wanted to rebuild the front entry into a small porch that if you drive by the house, you've seen the existing covered porch. What my client wants to do now is to extend that porch along the front of the house so that you can have an area to sit outside and sit on a rocking chair and look out at the beautiful vista overlooking Long Island Sound that Morningside Drive affords. So, you know, I'm going to mention at the end of my comments to you, your plans and documents on file do include a petition against this application that was submitted, I believe, today by some of the neighbors in Morningside. And I dare say that they may not have seen the plans or may not have understood the nature of the plans, because the front porch extension, we've called it in our application an expansion of a non-conforming structure, but there is no greater encroachment into the front yard setback than exists right now. The 2017 variance that was granted for the then owner to build the existing porch, that is not going to be increased by the expansion of the proposed porch that my client wants to have. It's some 4.4 feet off of Morningside Drive. There is no infringement of any neighbor's view that's going to result from this. It's not going to be a enclosed porch. It's just going to be a standard overhang with pillars that'll provide an area, as I said, for my clients to have a place to sit out and enjoy the view of the sound. So that's the nature of the request before you tonight. I'm going to turn things over to Joe, just so he can go through his elevations and floor plans for you. And then if there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer them at the end. Thanks.
Before we go to him, let's see if we have any questions for you, Mr. Lynch. And I'm assuming just by listening to you, like you said, it's not going to come any further closer to the road. It's the width of it. It's going to be widened across the front structure, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions right now for Mr. Lynch? Okay, who else is speaking then on this?
Can the residents,
Go ahead.
can the neighbors ask?
No opposition yet. I'm talking who's ever in favor. So you'll have to hold your comments, and we'll do the opposition. We'll do the opposition after we see who's in favor and what is being proposed. Mr. Lynch, whoever you're giving this to right now.
Yeah, Joe Russo, our architect.
Mr. Russo, wherever you might be, we're ready for you.
How are you? I don't know if you can, if you have the plans available to pull up on the screen, we can walk through them.
You can share your screen if you have plans available, Joe, or I can call up the plans and you can tell me where I should go.
Yeah, if you want to call up the plans, just start from the beginning.
All right, let's start at the beginning. So you want to go to the architecturals?
Yes, please. So go to the existing home on the second page. So if we can look to the right, the existing first floor plan. So the front porch of this, which is the looking at it, the most southern piece of this right here, that's the front porch that we wish to widen to the left and to the right of the existing walls of the existing structure. So if we could move ahead a few sheets. Yep, move ahead, one more. So this is the proposed first floor plan. So the additions to the left, which is a recreation room, bathroom behind, that's a conforming piece. We can kind of see the dash line to the left of that westerly room that's along the side of the setback. So there's a garage in the rear. There was an existing garage part of the house, but so we have a garage, but that's all within the setback we can see there. So the front porch is architecturally as well as functionally, aesthetically, functionally, the use of that porch that will go to the left and to the right. It's existing there in the middle. So we're adding a left portion and a right portion to go no further than it is now. So if we get, we're second floor plan, that's giving us walkout decks on the bedrooms. If you go back a plan to the second floor, please. Yep. So that's the porch. There's 2 bedrooms above the box that's existing that we're matching those first floor walls. And it's the walkout decks that we're gaining, as an enjoyability, a piece of that, of the view with that porch. So if you want to continue to the A 2.0, you'll see the elevation of the front top left, and then we'll see the elevation of the side view bottom right. So you can kind of see the transparency of the porch as it was. It's just going to the existing corners. Then we have the walkout decks again. You see on the upper left coming out of the bedrooms that are over that porch. They're kind of built into it. And that's really it. That's it's to be advantageous to the view architecturally. But again, we minimized. We had some iterations of design where we were just thinking of ideas, but really we didn't want to ask for anything for the whole house. We wanted to, if we're going to ask for something, it was going to be something that was critical to the view and to the aesthetic, and to the function. So I'll leave it at that.
If I could ask Stephen, just keep the screen there. again, to the board members and to the neighbors, we want to stress that what you see there, that covered porch, it's wide open with the pillars. There's 4 pillars that are proposed there. And the location of the Foley's house with the other house to the left of it on Morningside Drive, as well as the houses on Thompson Hill Road that are at a higher elevation than this house is, there will be no infringement on anyone's view with that porch brought across the front of the property like that. So.
Okay. Is there anyone else speaking in favor of this application? Anyone else speaking in favor of this application? Is there anyone here opposed?
Yes, I would like to speak. Chris Ladon.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
My
Meg,
name
do you
is
have,
Chris,
we need your address too, sir.
my name is Chris Ladon, and I reside at 7 Thompson Hill Road, which is in sight of the property in question, 81 Morningside Drive.
Okay.
I would first like to state that we never received any notice from the previous homeowner in regard to a non-conforming structure. So none of us, there was no opposition because no one was informed. So I just want to start by clarifying the other gentleman's comment. The other thing I would like to present to the board is that a petition to deny the variances has been submitted and made part of the record for tonight's meeting. I would like to point out the signatures are all from homeowners who have received the letter and live in the immediate area, many for over 25 years. The new homeowner is looking to vary section 6.3.2 under non-conforming structures, enlargement, extension, or alteration. It states structures failing to meet regulations shall not be enlarged, extended, or altered if the result will be an increase in non-conformity, as it is in this case. The homeowner is also requesting to vary section 4.14, a deck projection, to only 5.4 inches, where 21 feet are required to the property line in Morningside Road. We are objecting to both of these and are asking the board to deny. There is significant encroachment in this request to the property line and the main road, Morningside Drive. There is also a safety concern for drivers traveling down Thompson Hill and turning onto the main road. A deck of this dimensions, so close to the road, can affect drivers' visibility when they're pulling out. Morningside kind of veers down around the corner. It's not a straight shot. So if there's people on this deck, lawn furniture, chairs, whatever, it's definitely a visibility concern. We are also challenging any hardship in its request, as there is clearly no evidence, and it is strictly the new homeowner's personal preference. In conclusion, all of Milford, and particularly our beloved Morningside, has experienced a construction boom. The housing changes need to conform to zoning rules to maintain order with the construction so that setbacks don't get any tighter than they already are. We ask you to enforce the rules and deny the variance requests. I would like to thank the board for their time this evening and greatly appreciate their attention to this matter. Again, my name is Chris Ladon. I live at 7 Thompson Hill Road, across from the property.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Mr. Harris, before we go any further, would you please clarify what the variance is for here? Is the 6.3.2, all of that is allowable for expansion on this property? What is the variance that we should only be looking at right now? Is it just the front porch, the expansion?
It's the front porch in relation to Morningside Drive.
So any expansion of the house is permitted?
All the other proposed work on the house is zoning compliant.
All right, so this gentleman had just said how there's a petition that was circulated in the neighborhood. So we're not sure exactly what their thoughts might have been when they signed that petition. I think they're signing the petition because they think they don't want the house to expand.
May I speak?
All right. Yeah. Hold on 1 second. I just wanted to clarify a few things with the zoning officer before we went forward with this.
No,
Mr. Harris?
Yeah. Yeah,
Mr. Harris, go ahead.
again, Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, the applicant is here for the front porch only. All the other proposed work is zoning compliant.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Opposition, ma'am, I can't see your name from here. Go ahead.
It's Bettina. My name is
Go ahead.
Bettina Thiel. I live at 89 Morningside, so I'm right next to it.
Okay.
I would like to know, I have one question and one comment. And my question is, what are the setbacks from the proposed building on all sides?
For the zone?
Are you going to answer
No,
that,
not what
Mr.
the
Harris?
regulations are. What the proposal, what are the setbacks of the proposal?
They are not asking for any variances as far as expanding to the sides of the property and everything.
Mr. Chairman, I could put up the survey again.
Go ahead.
10 feet on the sides, all the way.
Here's the survey again.
Right.
This dashed line, that's the setback around the property. So here's the proposed garage, which follows the line of the setback. This dotted line here is the eave projection. This covered patios have to be at least 4 feet from a lot line, so that would comply. Here's another proposed addition down in here, which follows the setback line. And the eave for that is also zoning compliant.
Can I ask about the setback on Thompson Hill? That's first section, what is that, 20.2? And then further up, 16? Does that have to be 25 feet?
This is the distance to, this probably looks like some sort of foundation for some existing entryway.
That's steps, yes.
Yeah, so that's already there.
Right, so that's only 16.2 though.
Yes, but that's a pre-existing condition.
So how about the front 20.2?
That's the distance from the house. Here's the wall of the house.
Yeah.
To this property line.
Right, so is that 20.2?
That's 20.2.
And it has to be what, 25? Am I?
Again, it's a pre-existing condition. This house was built long before the zoning regulations came into being and were subsequently changed to whatever to the R10 zone.
But that front porch was enclosed once already. That was open.
Got away with it.
Yeah. So now another porch on top of a front porch, just closer to the property line and Morningside Drive. And we're making it wider. And I'd have to disagree that anyone's views are not being blocked.
I would like to know.
Hold on here.
Wait.
Mr. Harris, can you take this down so we can see who's talking, please? All right, who's talking now? Go ahead.
May I respond?
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Lett. Hold.
So the comment has been made twice by the gentleman, and it's all, I'm going to ask, when we're all done, I'm going to ask Stephen to bring the petition up on the screen. Twice the comment has been made, and in the petition, the comment is made that the house is going to come, or this structure is going to come closer to Morningside Drive than what's there now, and that is not true. That is not true.
Correct.
There is not going to be any increase in the nonconformity. The nonconformity is 4.4 feet. This porch is not going to come any closer to Morningside Drive than the existing nonconformity.
I have a question there. Does that mean that the porch that is there now is 4.4 feet away from Morningside Drive?
That's correct.
That is not true.
Well, we have an A2 survey that says that's the measurement, ma'am.
It's definitely not. I know that from our driveway to their side is 20 feet. And that's the other side, admittedly, but they have at least as much in the front.
All right, so Stephen, could you bring the map up again, please? Because there's a difference between the deed line and the approved street line of Morningside Drive. There is an area between the deed line and Morningside Drive. There you go. That dark line at the bottom of my client's property is the deed line. The curb line is, Steve's going to run the cursor now over the curb line. So in all honesty, ma'am, we're not 4.5 or 4 feet, 4 inches away from the curved portion of Morningside Drive. We're much further back.
Okay. All right. And what about the back?
This application doesn't address anything in the back, ma'am, because the garage, it's a very deep lot, and the garage as proposed meets the zoning standards.
That's what you say. And I would like to see that. I want to see how far it is, how far the setbacks are from the proposed garage to the
I
back
think
of
we
the
already,
lot.
the zoning officer just showed the setbacks.
Well, you know what,
The
Joe?
these
No
are
harm, no
exist-
foul. Bring it up again.
Those
It
are
is important.
existing.
You know, I'm more than happy to try to clarify misconceptions.
All right, we'll give this to Mr. Harris again.
So right
Mr.
there,
Harris.
there's the proposed garage, and it shows a measurement of 44 feet, 1 inch off of the rear boundary line. And in the R10 zone, you need, what is it, Stephen? 25?
I don't remember. 25.
25.
He's
That
showing
is-
25 in the top left
That's
corner.
where the mistake is, because I believe that upper part is not part of their property. This is an old map.
All right.
This is Zeno Propapas. I believe that piece of property was sold by.
Hold on. Who's talking now?
Zenon Protopapas.
And
89.
what are you speaking on, sir? Are you opposed?
I'm making a clarification to the rear border.
Okay.
Portion of this land was sold by the previous owner to Jeff Spiro. So I believe that the line is just short of that little wall that's being shown. That's my understanding of it, but I think that needs to be confirmed, because I don't think that, I think this is the old boundary before the previous owner had sold the back lot to Jeff, who I believe was online previously.
Well, with all due respect, Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
we're
Chairman,
not,
Mr.
we
Chairman,
have an application.
Hold on. We got a lot of people talking.
Hey, can I jump
Hold on.
in, please? Because I don't know who
Hold
just
on.
spoke, in what
Go ahead.
capacity.
It's
Go ahead,
Zenon
Meg.
Protopapas.
Hold on, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I have a
Meg.
point of clarification for everybody.
Yep.
The ZBA has no authority to decide the validity of a survey. Your charge is to view the submitted information and come to a conclusion.
Well, the submitted information is wrong, at least in that point, at the very least.
If there's a boundary
And I-
dispute, Mr. Chairman, if there's a boundary dispute, that's a dispute between two neighbors. It doesn't involve the ZBA.
I also believe that the coverage lot of the lot is higher at that point, because there's actually less land. to-
If we look at what's in front of us, though, in not judging the back part, everything that's shown as proposed on this building that's being added onto is acceptable from the city. So again, the only variance that we have here before us is the front porch, the existing front porch. They want to make it from the width of the front of the house. That's the only issue really that we're looking at right now.
But that's a
So
non-conforming.
as far as we go with, this, like the zoning officer had just said, if there's any disputing any of the actual measurements on this piece of property, that has nothing to do with the hearing here right now. And that would be another issue. And I don't know who would decide on disputing on the territorial lines of this piece of property.
Excuse me, can I jump in because my name
Wait,
was.
wait, time
Hold
out,
on.
please.
Okay,
I'm trying to keep up here.
All right.
Mr.
Okay.
Protopopis, what is your address?
89 Morningside Drive.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you all set, sir, with your comments?
Well, I mean, I agree with, this is not a zoning issue, but should the border not be correct, it becomes a zoning issue at the back. And I'm not for sure where the border is, but it's been my understanding that this is not represented properly on those plans. And I think we should confirm that before any decision is being made. Number two is, to say that the front variance is already there and it's not being expanded because we're just widening that is an incorrect statement, because you're not only expanding the bottom porch, but you're also expanding a porch on top of it.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's a major encroachment to people's views and to the neighborhood. I mean, it's not just to say, well, it's already pre-existing, so it's something minor. I think it's a misrepresentation of what is happening here.
Thank you.
I wasn't putting it out as a misrepresentation. I was putting it out as the variance that they're looking for. And that's what's before us. So that's what we're trying to do. But right now, from a variance on the front, we've gone into property problems, lines, and everything would have to be resurveyed in your neighborhood. That's the way you're all looking at it. So I don't know. This board doesn't have anything to do with the actual plot plans on the surveys.
The Jeff Spiro wanted to talk to that, and he's the one that owns the property, I believe.
So can I jump in here? Jeff Spiro from 6 Soundview Place.
Yeah, go ahead.
I live directly behind the Foleys. And just to your point, Zenon, that is the line. I did purchase a portion of the previous owner's property, but the new line is designated on their map, and I think it is within the zone regulation. Okay, so
you're saying the survey is correct?
Correct. Yeah, I think there's plenty of room there. My question is, I inquired about doing some work on my house, and I was told that I have a corner lot as well, and the Foleys do also. I was told that corner lots are treated differently than interior lots, in that the satisfaction of the 25 feet in the front yard has to be satisfied in the rear yard as well on both frontages. Is that not true? So 25 feet in the front and 25 feet in the rear.
Mr. Harris, are you there?
Yep. Corner lots have 2 front yards. This house is in an R10 zone.
Yes.
So the front yard setback is 25, the rear yard setback is 25.
Yes,
The
but
side yard is 10.
But I was told that a corner lot is treated with having 2 front yards. So the front yard, you have to satisfy the front yard on Morningside and the front yard on Thompson Hill. Is that not true?
Yes.
Okay, so 25 feet on the rear of his Thompson Hill front yard, the rear yard is 25 feet, but there is not 25 feet there, correct?
Existing.
Stop again. Here's a survey again. So here's Thompson Hill. Morningside is down here.
I wanted a clarification of the regulation that was told to me by the zoning board. And they told me that that 25 feet had to be satisfied with both the front yard and the rear yard on both frontages.
For the principal structure, yes. So any corner lot has 2 front yards.
Right. And then, so the regulations, do they not apply the 25 feet in the front and 25 feet in the rear?
With the rear yards, on this lot, the rear yard setback, put up the survey again.
No, the rear yard is towards my house.
So there's, back up the map again. So corner lot, front yard here, and front yard here. This
Yes.
is a rear yard.
Correct.
This is the side yard.
I know,
So
but if the front yard, if you say the front yard is Thompson Hill, then the rear yard becomes the portion of the house.
I understand, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but not necessarily. So in this case, I'm moving the cursor on the setback line. This is the rear yard setback. This is the side yard setback, 10 feet.
The rear yard setback is,
So you have, on a corner lot, you have 2 front yards, 1 rear and 1 side. So on this lot, this area here, this is the 25-foot setback.
yeah, that's correct. Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
All right. So you don't have to satisfy 25 feet in the rear yard of the other proposed front yard. Meaning Thompson Hill Road is not the front yard.
It is, it's both. Corner lots have 2 front yards that go around the corner.
But you don't have to apply the 25 feet to the rear yard of that side for the zoning.
No, you don't have 2
No.
backyards.
No, you don't have 2 backyards, yeah. You have
Okay.
1 backyard, 1 side yard,
Okay.
2 front yards.
All right.
I think the confusion was, he was saying he thought that the Thompson address side of the house was also being called a front of the house, which only the front is that's facing the water.
Yes, yes.
Well,
Okay.
not semantics. I'll be happy to talk about yards, but not semantics. A lot of people on the beach think this beach side of the house is the front yard. So,
All right, so we had a lot of people jump in here and the last
Thank
lady
you. You clarified my question. Thank you.
the last lady that was talking, I don't know if she still has more comments. So I can't, Meg, what's the lady's name? I can't read it from here.
It's Bettina.
Okay, Bettina.
Miss
So
Thiel.
you were up and then we jumped away from you. And so what other comments would you have? And what other concerns would you have?
I am concerned that Morningside Drive itself is narrow to begin with. It's not a regular sized road, city road. And I'm concerned about, where they would, for instance, put the city plows would put the snow. If indeed there was only 4 feet, but that has been clarified also because
Okay,
not the curb.
So the existing porch that's there right now, what they're looking to do is go from one corner of the house to the other. That's what we're
right.
looking at here. Is everything else, the expansion of the building is allowable by the city and by zoning.
I am not happy that they're taking down the retaining wall that's back there. It is one of the most charming aspects actually of the whole property.
Well, unfortunately, when people own property, we can't tell them what to do with it.
That's right. Yes.
As long as things are zoning compliant, we can't tell people. You can go around town and there's some really, you can go over on the other side of the beach area, near Hillside Avenue and all. There's some real different structures over there, but you can build. If you have the property, you can build any kind of house.
That's right, but that's why I don't live there.
Yeah.
And my question also is whether there are any plans for drainage and what they are, because as most people who live in Morningside know, the issue about water is not coming from the sound, or that's not the biggest threat. It's actually the water coming down the hill. And
If I could speak on that.
Great.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, whoever's talking, will you please let this lady finish talking and I jump in? Thank you.
This is,
Go ahead.
I'm good. I want to listen.
Okay, all right, who else was talking right now?
Joe Russo. So Ron Wassemer, CT Civil Group, the civil engineers that did the site plan, they have calculated the drainage for the existing square footage as well as new roof structure. There'll be by code infiltrators in the ground to take runoff from the leaders and the property itself. So there'll be a significant improvement on drainage as a whole from the property. So that's being civilly, the civil engineers are doing that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Okay, thank
May I
you.
step in?
All right, anyone else speaking in opposition that we haven't heard from? Anyone else speaking in opposition?
I'm speaking in opposition.
Okay, your name, sir, or ma'am? Sir? Go ahead.
Hands, you're muted.
Yes, my
Go
name is
ahead.
Hans at 1 Thompson Hill Road.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
Fantastic. So beyond the issue of this house just being overexpanded for the size of the lot that it's on, which is fine, obviously that's within zoning. But having a zoning commission, we're concerned that this is now beyond zoning by adding the addition to the front of this house, which is a huge deck, an addition on the top. So essentially it's blowing out more living space in the front of the house, which makes it difficult when you drive down to the bottom of the street to see what's going on and negotiate curves and corners. So I am in opposition of this addition. It's out of the zoning regulation. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else speaking? I think there's one more person.
Yes, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
My name is Hassan Sarwar, 73 Morningside Drive. Carol and I, we have lived here for 26 years. To begin with, the 2017, you mentioned there was a variance.
We never heard about it.
We never heard about it, and Chris Ladon mentioned about it. We never received any letter or notice.
2017?
2000, I think Mr. Lynch mentioned there was a variance given on.
With the landing, it used to be a step in the variance. This is Carol Sauer. There used to be a step there. Apparently, about 3 or 4 years ago, suddenly it became a landing with an overhang. Excuse me, ma'am. I don't know who's talking. For the record, please. My name is Carol Sauer, 73 Morningside Drive. Okay, I couldn't hear your last name. Thank you. Okay. So what happened is overnight, there was a landing and an overhang. Now we are higher than their property is. So our first floor, we definitely had we had a beautiful view, and it has blocked our view. Now, we don't know if we never got a letter for this variance. We didn't know anything was happening. We definitely would have said something, but we did not get a letter. He's our neighbor. He did not tell us. In fact, he did not talk to anyone about it. So I think this is an illegal landing that he put on, because we did not know. We definitely would have opposed of it. Our view is blocked totally. And if you put more, even a longer landing, it's going to be blocked more. Moreover, when we drive out of Thompson Road onto Morningside, it is very hard to see cars coming down the hill, and they come down awfully fast. So it is a danger as well. So I oppose it totally.
Okay,
And
thank
that's
you.
all. I'm just talking about the variance.
All right, the Attorney Lynch will address some of your concerns afterwards, see who else is opposed. Any other opposition? Anyone else opposed?
I'm just going to continue. This is Hassan Sarwar from the same address as Carol.
Go ahead. Yep.
There was no porch over there in the beginning. There used to be some steps and a landing area to the entrance of the house. This was until 2017. Something came up, some structure which we were not aware of. Now, this is being compounded. So, to me, it seems like error on error. So, I'm opposed to it. That's all I have to say.
And it blocks our view. We had a beautiful view of the water and it totally blocks our view. This is totally ridiculous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other opposition?
Hi,
Any
this
other
is Cynthia
ahead.
Morris, 30 Thompson Hill Road, and we're opposed to the extension of the porch built on a porch that wasn't originally approved. We also weren't notified of that. So I just want to register our opposition as well.
All right, thank you for your comments.
Thank you for your time.
Anyone else opposed? Anyone else opposed? Mr. Harris, is there any way we can find out about what happened in 2017 as far as any permits that might have been pulled, or if we have an illegal build here that we're looking at to expand?
It might be an interesting historical look back, but it's not germane to this application. So
I didn't understand that. Could you?
If it's not legal, it should be a germane application. I mean, it shouldn't, anyway.
This is not from a very long time. We are talking about a very recent past.
Mr. Chairman, what may or may not have happened 5 years ago is not germane to the application before you now.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Anyone else speaking in opposition before I give this to Attorney Lynch? Anyone else in opposition? Attorney Lynch, would you like to address some of these concerns?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And, I know Meg Green, and I've known her for many, many years, and she oversees these applications. And in 2017, I went back and looked at the records, and the minutes are all online, and the agenda was online. This application for the original variance was advertised. There was a public hearing. If some of the neighbors say that they didn't get letters, I have no comment to make to that, but I just can't believe it. The applications are reviewed by the staff, and I can't believe that an application came before this board that wasn't properly noticed. So that's the only comment I can make to that. As to this Sarwar's, this is a totally open porch. I've driven past this house many, many times. It's part of my morning coffee ride, actually. And I know where their house is. And again, with all due respect, I cannot believe that either the existing porch as it is now, nor an expansion of it sideways can be infringe upon their view at all. They have a higher elevation, and going straight out, the views in Morningside are unobstructed, and with a pillared porch on the front of this house that is within the confines of the existing corners of the house. I just can't believe that there would be any infringement of anyone's view. But this all boils down to what is the nature of our application. There is no increase in any nonconformity with this application, merely an expansion of the house. I mean, that the expansion of the residence in terms of the additions that are zoning compliant, and the expansion of this porch on the front of the house that, again, stays within the parameters of the width of the house itself.
This porch is non-conforming.
We can't have, sir, we can't have you yelling out.
If Mr. Chris, whatever his name is, can be muted while I speak, I would love that so that I can finish. I have that right.
I apologize.
Go ahead, Mr. Lynch.
I'm here representing a client, sir. I'm doing my job.
We're representing Morningside.
Well, you know, my final comment to you, Mr. Chairman, is, you know, back in the old days when you moved into a neighborhood, the welcome wagon came out. You know, they'd bring you a plate of brownies or some cookies. And, you know, this is the second time in the last 3 months I've represented a client before this board to, you know, improve a piece of property in Morningside. Now, granted, the last one that I did was representing Buddy Field, who was going to build a house on Norwood Road. That's a little different. That's a spec house that a local developer wanted to build. And I could understand the neighbors opposing a larger deck or a different style of house in that case. But that's not the case here. I have two clients that have spent $1 million to buy a house. They want to move into Morningside. They want to be part of the association in Morningside. And the welcome wagon in Morningside is a petition. And they haven't even moved into the house yet. So shame on you, sir, for, you know, having that sort of an attitude to new neighbors coming into the area. That's the end of my comments, Mr. Chairman, and thanks for listening to those comments.
Okay, thank you.
Could I make another comment?
You know what? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, I wouldn't mind the landing, but the overhang is what is bothering our view. And I beg to differ with this lawyer. It does infringe on our view. And I don't know what else to say, but that's my thought. If you want a landing, fine. I'm opposed to the overhang.
All right, go ahead, Bettina.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. I have two answers there for Mr. Lynch. Number one, we did go over there, and I was not the only one to welcome the new owners. I didn't know that they really didn't like the house that they bought, or the way the neighborhood looked. So that was surprising to me. Number two, my question to you is, so I got my notification of this particular hearing on Friday, and I believe that is actually quite late. So I just wanted to put that out there, that the notification should go out earlier.
Well, we follow all the standards, madam, and we submit the certificates of mailing to the zoning office. And if the United States Postal Service is a little slow in delivering the letters, that's not my client's fault. The letters have to be stamped 1 week before the hearing. They were stamped and they were sent 1 week before the hearing. If you didn't receive it until this morning, that's unfortunately not our fault.
All right, okay.
May I speak? This is Hassan Sarwar again.
Go ahead, sir. Last comment, please. Go ahead.
Yes, I personally went and welcomed Mr. Jim Foley, and I didn't have a wagon, but I just personally went and shook hands and welcomed him to the neighborhood.
Well,
I'm done.
That welcome continues here tonight, sir.
Sir,
Right,
we cannot just build whatever everybody. I would like to build too.
We couldn't.
We couldn't.
All right.
Couldn't. We had zoning and we could not do
We're
it.
all set with our comments for now. So, all right, commissioners. Any questions for Mr. Lynch? Any questions? We're either going to leave this open and or make a motion. I'm not sure what you want to do.
Are we going to have a discussion?
Yeah.
Anything else, Sir Tom?
Before I close it, yes, commissioners, whether or not we're going to leave it open, you want to think about it. You're ready to make a motion to. What we're looking at is, are we going to let them, are we going to allow the front porch to be wider than it is across the front? That's all we're looking at.
Mr. Chairman, the board can't discuss the merits until the hearing is closed.
Right, until it's closed. Go ahead, Mr. Soto.
Are you going to close the hearing, Joe?
I will.
So we can discuss it.
Okay.
I don't have any questions.
Yeah,
all right.
Close it.
Commissioners, all right, commissioners, any more questions for
No
Mr. Lynch? Last one, okay? All right, this hearing's closed.
All right.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Soto.
Listen, I listened to everything. I've been down Morningside Drive quite a few times, and the view for all the houses on Morningside Drive is straight ahead. That's where you see everything. That's not to the left, not to the right. You look straight ahead, that's the water. So, I mean, these people only want to expand their porch to the left and the right. They're not coming out any further to the street. I mean, what they're asking for is not unreasonable. The guy spent $1 million on a house. He can have a front porch for a couple of rocking chairs and a couple decks on top. I have no problem with this application. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right. Any other commissioners, any comments? Before someone makes a motion? Ms. Ferranti, I don't see you here. Are you here somewhere?
I am here. Yes, I'm sorry. I had to switch from my computer to my phone because I lost the Wi-Fi and I can't see the documents.
I'm on a smaller tablet too, so
I can turn my camera off.
Everybody.
I have to turn the camera off in order to zoom in on the documents when they're up on the screen. But I can turn that on now. I largely agree with Bill.
Okay, all right. Mr. Wolf?
Yeah, with a significant opposition from the neighbors, I'm looking at this plan and everything is within compliance. You have an existing covered porch that is approved and that stands as is. You want to widen this across the whole front. I don't have a problem with that. I do appreciate the opposition that you do have a significant build on the second floor over that.
But we're not looking at the expansion of the house.
No, just this front, just the front. You want to bump out the front. If this front porch,
they're not bumping out anything. They're expanding the porch. They're not bumping the structure out.
Right. The width, right. There's no change in the frontage. The existing 4.4 is going to be extended on both corners. The adjacent property on the other side of Thompson is, I would say, not identical, but a significant build as well. It's a tough one. Bill, I'll go with a motion from Bill.
All right. So, Ms. Hirsch, are you there? I don't see you right now. Okay. You have any comments or?
I did take a drive down to Morningside. I'm surprised anyone is comfortable going down there. I mean, it looks like you're gonna, go right into the water as you're going down the side road there. It's quite terrifying. So I commend any of you that live down by that side of Milford. But I did, take significant time to look at the property and what the proposal was and the reason for the variance, which is the only reason we're here today. And it doesn't, from my vantage point from the road, it did not appear that expanding the existing porch to the left and to the right would impact any other views from any of the neighbors, which is of course a concern anytime we have a request similar to this. So I'm largely with Bill and other of the commissioners.
Thank you for your comments. All right. So, all right, we need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the application for Thompson or Morningside Drive.
We need a second. Who's second?
Would that be conditioned on the submitted?
Conditioned on the submitted materials.
All right. Second. Who's second that?
Second.
Ms. Ferranti seconded. Okay. All right. We have a motion to approve. We have a second on the motion. Mr. Wolf?
I'm with the motion.
Mr. Soda?
With the motion.
Ms. Hirsch?
With the motion.
Ms. Ferranti?
With the motion.
I'm with the motion. It's approved.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Thank you,
Ms.
Tom.
Secretary.
Thank you.
Ms. Secretary.
Item number 4. Item number 4, 40 Ocean Avenue, MVP 9/126/8 R7.5, Matthew Drengler, owner. Vary section 3.1.4.1, front yard setback to 18.8 feet where 20 feet required, and side yard setback to 4.6 feet where 5 feet required for addition.
Okay, who's doing the presentation on this? Is it Matthew?
I'm Carrie Drangler. This is my husband, Matthew Drangler. We're co-owners of this home.
You should be a very easy one for us.
I would hope so.
Thank you for your patience.
Absolutely. And I thank you all for staying on the line this long. We're looking to make a very minor adjustment to enable us to put some additional weight on the third floor. There is no change to the height of our home. We're looking to, and I'm happy to share a presentation that we've developed to hopefully showcase exactly what we're attempting to do. We need to extend the bottom floor of our house by about a 3-foot triangle to match the second and third floor to enable us to put additional weight on the third floor. And I'm happy to share a presentation that we've developed to showcase exactly what we're hoping to do, because it's a very minor adjustment.
Okay, it is a minor adjustment.
Mr. Chairman, if I could zoom in.
Sure.
This is kind of hard to see. Here's Ocean Avenue. This triangular area, this is the area of the variance.
Share screen, please.
It is, you can't see that now?
Yeah, it's being shared. We can see it.
I can see it.
Okay. So again, Ocean Avenue, here's the front of the house. This triangle area is the area where they're requesting the variance. And here it is in a blow up. So the driveway, and see that again. And there it is in context.
I got it.
Just so you could zero in on what you need to be looking at.
If it would be helpful, I'm happy to share exactly, just so you can see what it looks like from the front of the home. Just so you can see exactly what this looks like. And I think this is probably the best view here. So you can get a solid understanding of exactly what we're trying to do. As you can see, the second floor, protrudes there. We're looking to build what we've sort of outlined here, just to sort of build out that corner to enable us to have the full sort of structure that comes down from the second floor all the way down to the first floor, to enable us to put additional weight on the third floor, which has absolutely no change to our roof, the height of the house. It just allows us to put a bathroom on the third floor, which we can't do without tying that all the way down. If there's any additional questions, we have our general contractor here who is very willing to talk through some of the details of that.
I'm okay with what you've presented, actually.
Just relatively simple. As
Commissioners, any questions? Any questions?
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, Chris.
No other questions.
I have no questions.
No. Okay. This is simple can be. All right. Anyone else speaking in favor? Anyone here speaking in favor?
Yes.
Is there anyone?
Yes.
Go ahead. Is there anyone here opposed? Anyone here opposed?
We live across 43 Ocean Ave. This is Pamela Jaren Stanislaw-Stacey, and we are in favor. We are the ones that see it across the street from us, and we're completely in favor of this change.
All right, so
thank you.
So you're in favor. You're in favor. Okay. All right. Any questions before we close this one? Okay. No questions. This hearing is closed. Okay. This one's very simple. It's unfortunate to even have to go through this, to do this, to square off the corner of the house. And like they had said, it's just to help with the weight that would be on the third floor. So any other comments? Otherwise, we need a motion.
It's a significant improvement of that property. I'm familiar with it. Motion to approve based upon the existing non-conformity and the size of the lot.
And in accordance with the submitted plans?
Per submitted plans, yes, please.
All right, second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve, and we have a second on the motion. Ms. Ferranti,
With the motion.
Ms. Hirsch,
With the motion.
Mr. Soda,
with the motion.
Mr. Wolf.
With the motion.
I'm with the motion. It's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience and waiting through this evening.
Good night, Matt.
All right.
Bye, Chris.
New business. Any new business? Old business?
When are we going to do face-to-faces?
Old business, Mr. Harris, we were supposed to, the city attorney was going to cover some, Mr. Harris, did you want to go ahead and mention that?
We were supposed, the city attorney was scheduled to give a zoning primer or presentation to the board, but he called me late yesterday and asked to postpone that until he can speak with you all live. He feels that that would be more productive because there would be a better interaction between you and he.
Okay.
All right, so that's old business. Okay.
Any
Staff update? Somebody have a comment just right now?
I think that's a good idea to do it in person because it's much better than a Zoom call.
Okay.
Agreed.
Ms. Ferranti was saying?
Yeah, just
Were you
wondering if
saying
you have any idea when we're going back to in-person.
Yeah, that was going to be the next thing, next month. Thank you.
Next
Yeah,
month.
I'd like to know if that's okay with all you board members next month.
Yes, please.
Yep.
Okay. Meg had informed me just before the meeting that the other boards were going back. So like, we thought we would discuss it right now.
Oh, do we have a mask? Is the mask deal? Because the schools just did that. What's our call on that? We're still masking, but.
Well, I think without the mask, I would hope by next month. Yeah. That's why we came back to the Zoom meeting because
right.
If you can recall, I think we went back in August. We took our masks off to talk, but then we came back in September. We had to keep our mask on.
Yeah, brutal.
You couldn't understand what anybody was saying. So
right.
We've had some pretty contentious meetings lately, and we have to hear every word. It's like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. This is all after the pandemic, but man, oh man, I'm telling you, the attitudes have changed, and the presentations and the people just, nobody has any patience for anything anymore. Or like Mr. Lynch said, how would you like to move? What happened to the welcome wagon? Oh my God. Anyway.
If it means anything, the Board of Aldermen meets, and I watched their meeting yesterday, and there were just a few people masked up.
Mm-hmm. So we'll have to go back, and we all agree to go back, and that's what we got to do. So
good.
Okay. Acceptance of the minutes from January 11th.
Aye.
Did we all read them? Everything looks good. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Applications for next month. We have to think about our vote now for 102 Melville. And in the back of your mind, keep your thoughts going on 70 Christina Terrace. He asked for an extension. And the reason he asked for an extension was that he's still trying to, I guess, clean up his property and concerns that the board had and concerns that his neighbors had. So that looks like he's looking at things in pretty good faith to
I hope so.
Next week.
You do a drive-by. It's a tough one. He's got to make those neighbors feel.
He's got too much junk in it. It's a residential area.
Yeah.
And, even commercial trucks should be.
I could put a kibosh on this. You can't be talking about this outside of hearing.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So
we got to vote. Melba, that's it. No more discussion on Melba.
That's it. We're all set
to vote.
We're all set.
So next month.
Any other comments from anybody before we leave?
Yes, me. So for next month, Christine Terrace, that hearing is still open. And in Melba, the hearing is closed, but it's open for voting. So you're not going to take any testimony on Melba next month. You're just going to.
No, we're not. We're just going to vote on it. We're just going to vote on it. I think the opposition was pretty comfortable, so that's good.
Agreed.
Yep.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
Make motion to
adjourn.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Good evening, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good evening.
Night.
See you soon.
Bye, everyone.